It's not just a hobby. It's even more than a passion. It's looking around and realizing you are amidst God's creation. It's answering the call to pursue in your soul. It's hunting, fishing, and the outdoors. This is the place where we converse about it and hope to inspire, educate, and ignite. This is Chase Outdoors, the podcast.
Hey guys, thank you for joining Chase Outdoors, the podcast. I'm your host, Justin Geike. Hope you guys are doing great as we step one day closer to the movie Idiocracy being prophecy. If I look extremely tired today, for those of you who are watching on the video, I am. Pounding as much coffee as I can because I've been up since midnight chasing the extremely hard to get product that is just impossible to find. And we're going to talk about a whole bunch of that stuff right now, but trying to keep our sportsmen, our hunters, our fishers, our shooters, our Second Amendment enthusiasts stocked, locked, and loaded. And it has been quite the circus here as we approach this awesome weekend, which is one of the greatest weekends that's ever been created. And that's the archery opener for deer here in the state of Wisconsin. I hope you guys are as excited as I am. It has been cold around here. We've had temperatures down into the upper 30s in some reaches of our immediate area here. And for those of you who love to hunt, that's music to your ears. Obviously, we've had early goose season open up here for a little bit now, and I got a whole bunch of friends. Sam Stodursky that works for us, the Brunkus clan, out there whacking on geese here in Marathon County and the surrounding areas, and that's been really good. This cold weather that we're going to have is only going to continue to improve and enhance that. But yesterday, really exciting stuff. Our bear season opened up. I had a bear tag, and instead of bear hunting, I was at the store cleaning the busy, and you guys come before my hunting does, at least this week. We're getting closer and closer to the Montana mule deer hunt that Brian and I are going on, and I'm sorry, but I'm shutting my phone off for that week. We've been at We've been at the store from 4 a.m., and we've been there at 11 p.m., and last night I slept for about 45 minutes, and from midnight till sunrise, all I did was chase product. It's been crazy. We're taking, I would have to guess, honestly, hundreds of phone calls a day, and most of them are the same thing. People looking for the same hard to or impossible to find stuff that's out there. And all of this, largely in part, I should say most of it, is related to COVID. Right now, obviously, the hot topic is ammunition. And historically, over the last several months, obviously, people have been looking for all the handgun rounds, 9mm, 40, 45, all those things associated with personal defense, 223, 5.56 rounds. Obviously, we've had a huge shortage of that and the guns as well. We're starting to see some things happen and move. One thing that we've done within the store, because of the volume of the store traffic we're having for the hunting opener, and because of the volume of phone calls that we're taking for people looking for those hard to get things, is we've moved to how we are essentially informing our great customer base and when we get that stuff in. So if you're listening and you're one of our local customers, what we're telling people is if you go to the chase-outdoors.com website and you go down and look down in the bottom corner there, you're going to see a box where you can enter your cell phone. I'd encourage you to take a moment and go and do that. And what that does is going to kick you a link to sign up for our app. I would love to say that you can go to the App Store, whether it's through Apple or whether it was through Google, and you would download that. But you can't. And that's because those companies are giant bias fill in the blanks. We've spent the last several weeks trying to get our app uploaded onto these platforms so it'd be easier for you guys, the customers and our listeners and our viewers and stuff like that to access a lot of the information that we have. Because our goal with that forum is to, when we get the 9mm, when we get the 5.56, we can inform our customers through that avenue so that you guys can get the goods. That's what everybody's looking for right now. And both of those platforms have basically denied us repetitively over and over and over, saying that our store, which is completely legal, governed by the FBI and the Department of Justice, with law-abiding background checks, quite honestly, the safest and best way for us to transfer firearms from the manufacturer to the public by doing our background checks, is that we violate their policy. And that's a bunch of crap, because we went and took screenshots of all the other, big corporates that are doing that on those platforms that they allow, and just showing that they're high level of discrimination, and we just get to run around the whole time. So ultimately, at the end of that battle over the last 2 weeks, all we've done is end up with the loss of several $100s of application fees to find out that we're part of this giant governmental censorship. And I don't want to beat on it too hard. I know you're sick of hearing about all this garbage. I'm certainly sick of hearing about it, dealing with it, and talking about it. But it is the truth. Right now, those of us who love to hunt and fish and live that country life and love the Second Amendment in this great country, our voices, our desires, our dreams, we're being snuffed out. We're being censored right out like we don't exist. And make no mistake, we as hunters and fishermen and Second Amendment lovers are the people that fund the conservation of our country through our Pittman-Robertson tax. What we do for this country, we're talking about billions and billions of economic dollar impacts. Huge. It's massive. And there are millions of us, and we're important to this country. But mainstream media and the giant conglomerates of the internet are trying to make that not so. And that's my stump. That's my rant for now. I'm not going to beat it to death. I'm sorry. I probably have already. But it's super frustrating. And I think those of us that would like to put our heads in the sand and just not listen to or deal with everything that's going on, we've got to be aware of it because it's impacting us. So I would ask you, if you go to the store site, go in, get that app, put it on there, and what we're going to do is we're going to use that platform as our primary source for communicating to our great customers when we get the stuff that they're really wanting and looking for to get in. It's also a platform for us to go and let you know when our new podcasts episodes are coming up, because I don't do them on a set time just because of our schedule restrictions. And in addition to that, for exclusive hot deals, specials for those of you who are on the app. So couldn't encourage you enough to go ahead and follow that. Also, while we're talking about it and begging you for participation, if you're watching on the YouTube channel right now, we just ask that you hit the like and subscribe button. We'd really appreciate that as we help try to build our North Central Wisconsin local voice for the great outdoors. But aside from that, a lot of things going on right now. Talking about me personally, just doing what I can with the few minutes that I have in spare time to try to get out there and get those last-minute preparations in for things like this weekend. I was unable to bear hunt yesterday or today because of both inclement weather and huge store traffic. But I plan on doing it this weekend, and I'm going to take my bow with me. The Bowtech Revolt is going to get hung up in the tree, and hopefully we have an opportunity to run into one of the big bucks that we're getting on our cutty-back cell cameras, or one of the bears that's coming in. It's a great time of year because of those things and those activities, and I'm super excited about that. But we're also still coming up on our Western hunt. And there's a lot of our great customers who are out there right now doing those things right now. Congratulations, Tyler White and his DIY Idaho Public bull elk harvest here a couple days ago. Our friend Johnny's on his way out there right now. Kurt Schultz, who's a friend of ours, is out in Idaho right now. We got a lot of people who are packing up and getting ready to make the trek out west. A lot of exciting things. I know the Maves and their clan went out and had a really successful time with velvet whitetails out in the Dakotas. So a lot of really exciting things going on right now. So I'm still training, still trying to get myself physically prepared and ready for this strenuous bivvy style hunt that we're going on, which means we're taking camp on the pack, in the pack, getting as far back as we can, and living out of a backpack for several days in search of a great big giant mule deer on public land in Wyoming. But it's really awesome through the social media avenues and what we're doing. I've been obviously talking about that physical preparation quite a bit, and my personal journey through my back injury and stuff like that. And I got a comment a couple weeks ago on that from somebody who knows a whole lot about that, and that was my cousin Brad. My cousin Brad, he's an awesome, great, phenomenal human being, became paralyzed from the chest down on the very mountain that I've been climbing in preparation for this upcoming hunt. And Brad was involved in a skiing accident a couple years ago, and it was absolutely tragic, life-threatening, horrific, and it's been an absolute nightmare as far as the things for him to deal with. But thank God that guy is such an awesome, solid human being with great fight and great spirit. And he commented, asked me if I've been doing the hiking often, and it kind of honestly made me a little bit like, geez, I'm posting this stuff all the time, these beautiful views, and here, somebody who I care about, whose family is seeing those and wondering like what kind of impact I'm having on him. So I messaged out, reached out to him and said, hey, how's it going? I haven't talked to him in a little while, and I said, hey, you want to go do the hill? And it was kind of a bold, question, I guess, but I just love seeing people overcome things and push themselves and, take ownership of the, I guess, the mountains in front of them, if you would. And he absolutely wanted to do it. So a couple Saturdays ago, him and I met at the bottom, and 4.5 miles. That son of a gun pushed with his chair, and I was in the back, and we ascended together as a team all the way up to the top. I told him, I said, I ain't going to push too hard, buddy. I want you to earn it. I want you to feel like you did this, and it was absolutely glorious. We got up there. We're able to enjoy the sunrise. It was a absolutely empowering, amazing thing. And it just goes to show and puts so much into perspective that we see so many people right now that are just completely unwilling to humble themselves and take responsibility for some of their place in this life. And you got a guy like him who's just like, no, I'm good. When everybody else is sleeping, he's in a wheelchair and he's pushing himself up the mountain. I thought it was absolutely moving and incredible. Brad, I know you do listen to these once in a while. I just want to say, brother, I love you, and I think that's awesome. And if that wasn't exciting enough, Brad decided that he was going to do something more exciting the next weekend, and dude goes skydiving. It was just awesome. Guy's just a beast, and I want to brag about him because I want people to be inspired by guys like him. My other friend Kevin Cherky or Scott Verley, those guys who've overcome Polaris, to go and do things like kill elk and fish by themselves and ice fish by themselves. And, I tell you what, it makes me feel like a lazy bum an awful lot when I see what those guys go through to do the things that I take for granted. I thought that was really, really cool. So Brad, congratulations to you on some pretty cool stuff here over the last couple weeks. That's awesome. But besides that, back to what we've got going on as far as the season's coming up. I mentioned on it a little bit earlier. Deer season is here, just a couple days away, and this early season, there's going to be some really neat things going on with this cooler, colder weather. We're going to start to see some exciting things as far as these groups starting to break up. Properties like mine that have been overwhelmingly does and fawns, we're going to start to see this social breakup. But before that happens and we get to the rut, what we're going to have is this very small window. And we're already starting to see all the soybeans turn yellow, but corn's really good, clover looks great, and stuff like that. If you have a food source, right now is the time that you can pattern a deer if you're using your trail cameras or you're glassing from a distance. And this is absolutely opening weekend. So many guys wait till the rut, but this is one of the best opportunities to pattern and harvest a trophy whitetail buck. So if you have that opportunity, good for you. I do not seem to right now. My buck activity is extraordinarily random. Got some quality animals coming in. I'd like to catch up with them. But the nice thing is with that cutting link system that I'm using with the cell to be able to get that updated photo batch every 4 hours on my phone, my ability to pattern and identify where they're coming from, where they're going, what they're doing, is really going to help me dial in the if and when I'm hunting. Rather than just going out, climbing in a tree because I've got the day off, I'm going to really start to be more selective in picking and choosing. It's been really great for my bear baiting, because rather than making that, hour and a half trek or taking that time out every day, every other day, whatever I needed to do, I get notified when the bear cleans the bait out. I can try to make arrangements so that I can get out there and fill it up right away. If it doesn't get hit for 2 or 3 days, I'm not making those extra trips. And that's really nice because, unfortunately for me, my bait's not getting hit every single day. But on the bright side, my bears are daylighting every single time. They're coming in between 6 a.m. and 1 p.m., which I think is a little bit unusual, but it gives me all the confidence that that's going to continue to pick up. Because what happens, especially in Unit C here, where you can get a bear tag roughly every other year, is a lot of guys give up really quickly. We get those first couple days in, their baits go dry, they're not getting hit, and they lose that focus. All of a sudden, deer season comes up, maybe they get a big buck on camera, and they're gone, and they're moving on because they've lost their positive mental attitude for bear hunting. some of the things that I've seen in talking with other people and being surrounded by other bear hunters is one thing is changing your food up is really important. Getting yourself onto a higher protein content food rather than just the straight sugar with like the donuts and the cookies that we may have done earlier. Another thing that I think is important too is making sure that your stump and your ground is not moldy, and that might mean replacing your stump right now, moving it 10 feet to get it on some better ground, but I've often find that if that stump gets moldy, that can have a real negative impact on it. And another thing is to just stick with it, because you've got all these guys out there, and we have a very high bear population in this area, but what happens is a lot of guys are successful, so those baits go away. A lot of people give up, so those baits go away. And what I find is when some of these other natural food sources, like the acorns and things like that, start to dry up, a lot of times that last week of season is the very best, because you've got bears starting to move around and looking for food sources that were there and aren't there. So what I've chosen to do is not to put too much pressure on my land or on my spot right now. I'm watching those cameras, and I'm just waiting for that regularity to show up. And if that happens at the end of the season, great. If it happens tomorrow, even better. But I think that's a really good thing, is to keep that positive attitude and keep going, stay regimented. A lot of these guys start baiting as early as April. So to hit season and to give up early on season, absolutely not the right thing to do. Keep fighting, keep going, keep that positive attitude. A lot of times those bears will show back up that maybe have disappeared on you, which always seems to happen 24 hours before season. It doesn't make any sense to me either. But in addition to that, one of the things talking about the hunting season is, and back to the store, is right now the supply chain is seeing unprecedented challenges. And for those of you who aren't, in a sporting goods store all of the time, or maybe you're just casual hunters, or you got more important things to deal with, is I want to make it known to you guys what I'm seeing on my end. And right now, ammunition across the board is a monster challenge. It's obvious that 5.56, 223, 9mm is dried up and really challenging to get. That's part of the conversation that everybody's dominating right now. But the things that people aren't talking about right now is there's virtually no 30-30 Winchester ammo to be found anywhere. And a lot of the stuff, the Blue Box Federal, the Winchester, Soft Point, the Remington Core Lock, it's gone in a lot of places, not just our store, but all over. So pay really close attention to that right now, because we're dealing with Remington filing bankruptcy. They had, from what I understand, had given post-dated pink slips to all their employees. I found out I was up at, when I was 2 o'clock this morning, 3 o'clock this morning, I got a message from John, who works for us, and John also does 911 dispatch. He's the supervisor for the county for one of the shifts there, so he works a lot of late nights and then works the store during the day. But he had sent me a message that it sounds like there is a company that's buying the Remington ammunition in Barnes portion of the failed Remington, but that has to go through a long process in approval before that production gets rolling again. So basically, Core Lock, if that's what you've always shot, you got to find it now, because it's not going to be there next week or the week after, and it's certainly not going to be there the week before rifle season. So if you have people, there's a lot of people who love that ammunition, you've got to take care of that now. And especially if we keep having weather like we are, that time to get out and make sure that the rifle's sighted in, and make sure that you've got ample ammunition supply for the season, whether it's 1 box or 5 boxes, that time is definitely now. So if I can encourage you there, the other place too is we're continuing to have struggles finding shotgun slugs. We're also seeing that in the pheasant loads of 12 gauge, that number 5, number 6, a lot of that. The grouse ammunition is really tough to find. A lot of the target loads are difficult. And we're sitting position-wise really good on the target side of things. I've got a variety of Gila and Rio stuff in stock for the grouse hunters. But for the pheasant guys, it's been tough, and it's going to continue to be tough. Back to the centerfire deer hunting ammunition thing. What we're finding right now is I'm not having a problem getting Hornady SSTs, Remington AccuTips, Federal Premium, that stuff. I've been getting in often, but we're definitely in a position where we're going to be stuck with what's available rather than what we want, and we're fighting like mad to get it. But again, that's why I'm telling people, grab onto that app so that you can get those updates. Other things, we're starting to see a lot of stuff come through the pipeline again when we're starting to, again, you know, what we can get, not everything that we want, but we're starting to see strip lowers come through, lower parts kits, upper parts kits, Magpul accessories, AR-15 magazines. That stuff we're really starting to get a hold of in volume. When I'm buying it big because who knows when we're going to see it again. The same thing with reloading powder and primers. That's a nightmare right now. Primers are a ghost. They're impossible for me to get. I can't get them. I haven't been able to get them. Powders have been okay. We've been fighting really hard and have a couple other distribution avenues that other people don't have that we've been focusing on to get some in. But a lot of the popular ones, stuff for 223 like Varget, the Rotumbo has been impossible to get. 700X, a lot of those popular reloading powders for small rifle, and then even some of the big Magnum rifles, very, very tough. That's not all COVID related. From what I understand, we had a fire in Australia at one of the powder plants. And in relation to COVID, there's a lot of stuff with the metallics not being able to get from South or Central America up to here. Those mines shut down because of COVID. So a lot of things on that front. The other thing is we're starting to see, and these are very isolated areas, but a lot of these manufacturers that were shut down on the archery side of things, that because of the COVID, there are certain SKUs or things that people are looking for in high demand that are very difficult to find. You know, prime example is right now is there's certain broadheads or certain releases that are challenging to get. There's certain, especially on the crossbow side of things, just crossbows in general have been very difficult to get, and their accessories too. And part of that is because we have so many new people coming into the sport right now. License sales are through the roof. There's growth and participation. And I think that's great. That's one thing we've got to keep in mind is I know that none of us like to step out onto a piece of public land or put in the effort and have the sun come up and have somebody 30 yards from us. But keep this in mind. We need those people. And how we treat them, how we dialogue with them, especially on our public lands, is extremely important. This is a great opportunity. We have a ton of new people that are new gun owners that may now start to contribute to the fight for protecting our rights. The same thing is true about our hunting and fishing. Record license sales in fishing. We're going to have record sales on the hunting side of things. And it's awesome because these people are coming to the sport for different reasons. It's a great social distancing activity. No question about that. But a lot of these people, back to health, are starting to take, notice that wild game is the most pure source of quality, untainted by man protein. And they're starting to value that side of it. They're valuing being out in the outdoors. They're identifying meat shortages. They're properly not trusting the FDA anymore. With all the garbage that they put into that. I mean, a lot of eyes are being opened, and this is a great opportunity for us, rather than to be negative about it, really take these new people and help try to bring them into the culture, raise them up, walk them through, help them be better. So there might be something that you can help them with equipment-wise or focus-wise or aiming-wise that can help them be more successful so that they stay in the sport. And this is an awesome time. Our message, our opportunity when talking about in nature, social distancing, healthy food opportunity, there's just so many talking points where we can take this opportunity and we can grow our sport. Because we haven't been able to do that for several years. And now we've got a platform right now. And we have these people's attention. And we are seeing it. And a lot of it too is people that have been rifle hunters their whole lives that now want to participate in archery. So we're seeing the crossbow sales are really high. The starter entry level bow sales are very, very high. So I would just encourage everybody to take this opportunity and help these new people along. It's super important. If you're proficient with firearms, if you've got a property and you're hearing these people say these things about, first time gun buyers, don't dig on them. If you got that opportunity where you can come alongside of them and help train them so that they can do things safe, so they can do things confidently, we need to take that on our shoulders as a community and grow this area, grow this sport, and help save our country. Because this is an absolute dumpster fire. And I didn't wear it. I have the shirt. 2020 with the dumpster with the fire on it. It's awesome. But I think it's in the dirty laundry right now. But that's what we've got for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed everything. We're going to try to continue to bring on more guests. I hope you guys enjoyed having Cody. He's out on the road right now competing in Bassmaster Open. So best of luck to you, Cody, and hope you guys are well. If you are getting out hunting, by all means, stay warm, stay comfortable, stay safe, and God